Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first official episode of the Daze podcast. Everyone, give it up. Give it up. It's a really big day. It's a really big day. I am your host, DJ Jones, and today we are going to be talking about the most recent SUNAMI show that happened in Vegas on November 6th, 2024, and my experience at the show. So, as a little introduction to the artist before I start to talk about the show and what it was like there, if you don't know who SUNAMI is a hardcore band originally from San Francisco, California. And I just recently learned this, but I guess SUNAMI was originally intended to be a short-lived joke band by the members of different Bay Area hardcore bands, and from them releasing and performing some of their first songs, they literally just kept getting bigger and bigger, and just got a devoted set of fans to be with them. And they've released about 3 EPs recently. In June of 2023, they released their self-titled LP. The band consists of 4 members: Joseph, who is the lead singer, Benny, who is their drummer, Theo, who is their bassist, and Mike, who is their guitarist. Now that you have that little introduction into SUNAMI, let's talk about how the actual show went. So, seeing them for the first time on like an official tour, it felt a lot cooler. I don't know why. There was just a different level of energy there. I'd seen SUNAMI before, but it was on like a one-off show that they had done in Vegas. I believe around the time they had done like one show in Vegas and then like a couple in California. But this time they were on like an official US tour. I believe this was their second one. And it was called From the Bay to the USA Tour. And it was sponsored by Monster Energy's Outbreak, sector of their company, which basically sponsors a bunch of artists, helps them get their start, get tours going, all that. But yeah, so the openers for this show, at least on the tour, were Torrenta, AWOL, Ingrown, and then of course SUNAMI themselves. Now, there was a local band before them. Unfortunately, I do not remember their name, and it is absolutely no disrespect to them. I literally just don't remember their name, and I was there for multiple hours, so I'm not going to remember the first person on. But first, to talk about the openers, they were absolutely incredible. I think from the last time they had seen SUNAMI, again, no disrespect. I don't mean disrespect at all. Hey, I don't mean any harm. But I think the last time that I had seen SUNAMI, maybe the bands weren't handpicked by them. I don't know if that was the case for this tour. But I don't know. It just felt like kind of all the same thing until SUNAMI had come on. And obviously the bands that are going to open for them, they're all hardcore bands, right? So they all kind of play the same genre of music, even if it's different sub-genres of hardcore. But I think for this show, since they were on a tour, the bands that had played before SUNAMI were just absolutely incredible. I actually started to follow Ingrown after the show because they were just absolutely incredible. And if they come out to Vegas again, I would love to see them. And one of the bands, AWOL, was not even from the US. They were from Australia, and they were super cool. They hadn't even done what everyone else had done on the rest of the show. Everyone else had stayed up on the stage, but the lead singer of AWOL was in the crowd the whole time, in the mosh pits, and I thought that was really cool. I've never seen something like that. Even in the local Vegas music scene, I'd never seen nothing like that. So I just thought that was a really cool contrast from the last time that I'd seen SUNAMI with those openers. Again, no disrespect. It was just, I don't know, it just felt different. Something about these openers felt like they had something going already, and so to have that, they found their niche, they found their little spot. Everything felt different throughout the night rather than just hearing the same breakdown 10 times in a night before the headliner goes on. But now to talk about SUNAMI, the headliner, the people I was there for, it was absolutely incredible. Their set list was slightly different from the last time that I'd seen them. Some new songs were played from their self-titled album. The energy was just totally different when SUNAMI hit. Like I said before, the energy for the show was different, but even when SUNAMI hit, I experienced this last time I saw Tsunami, where as the bands were on, the room was just kind of like hot and humid, and it's not a great feeling. I'm gonna be honest, like, it is not, sunshine and rainbows, but it was very interesting just because throughout the whole night I didn't really feel that feeling that I'd felt the last time I'd seen them until Tsunami got on. Once Tsunami got in, it got real hot, it got real humid in that room. And I don't know, it's just a really interesting anomaly. Like, I had a hoodie on, and I had, like, slid one arm off and, like, slid it up onto my shoulder because I was holding my camera and, like, trying to protect it from the pit, from the people moshing, because I was, like, on a side wall. And in the venue that we were in, Eagle Area Hall, if you don't live in Vegas, or if you do live in Vegas but you've never seen a show at Eagle Area Hall, it's a very small space, and we're at a hardcore show. This mosh pit's going to be big. So I was, like, ducking people, like, throwing punches. I'm trying to protect my camera, because if that gets broken, like, I'm gonna be in some debt. Okay, I'm gonna be in some debt. So I was focused on that, so I really couldn't, like, take my hoodie off. But I just kind of had it sitting on one shoulder, and even then I was still, like, super hot. Like, I remember walking out of the venue once Tsunami was done and the show was over. I just completely took my hoodie off as I walked back to my mom's car, just because I was just hot. I was so hot, but it was great. Like, hold on. I know I just said earlier. Okay, the feeling of being hot, not great. I'm gonna be honest. It was not wonderful. I'm telling you that right now. But just the feeling of being there at the show and seeing Tsunami and seeing them perform, that was amazing. That was incredible. And that can, you gotta outweigh your pros and cons. You know what I mean? Some things are gonna be better than others. Some things are gonna be worse than others. And I think just the experience of seeing them, even if it was for another time, even if I've seen them already, the experience of that was just, I don't know, it just trumped everything else that I was experiencing that night. I also think once Tsunami got on, the pits got a lot more active. Again, part of that probably because of people just being there to see Tsunami and not the other people. But even then, like, throughout the whole show, like, everyone was going kind of crazy. But when Tsunami hit, it was insane. And one of the guys who was filming, he had, like, cameras set up. I don't know for who, if it was for the show, if it was for Tsunami. But he had, like, cameras set up on, like, each little corner facing the stage in Eagle Area. He was talking to me before Tsunami had went on, and just, like, talking to me about, like, what camera I was using and why I was taking photos and stuff like that. He was like, oh my god, you should totally get closer to the stage. And I was like, hey, I do love that. Unfortunately, this camera is not mine. And so if that is the case and something happens to this camera because I am right up on the stage and this mosh pit is about 1 foot behind me, and this camera breaks, I am going to be severely in debt. My parents are going to kill me. I can't really do that. And he was like, you know what? Totally understandable. I get it. So there was that. But yeah, no, I don't know. Talking about something, especially with it being like a month ago when the show happened at the time of filming this. I don't know. Hey, memory's a little hazy. Memory's a little foggy. But Tsunami, truly a sight to see. It was nice to just go through, like, 20 songs of theirs and to just, like, scream it out with the rest of the crowd. And everyone around me was just so friendly and so nice. I do have, like, kind of a funny story. I just think it was something funny for me just because I, like, overthought it so much. But it was either the first or the second band that had went on, I was standing in the back with my camera because I didn't want to necessarily get super, super up close yet. And I also didn't want to move around just because I didn't want people to be like, oh, who is this guy moving through? You know what I mean? But like, it was the first or second band that was on, and I was in the back taking photos. And at one point, I go to check the photos I'd taken. And since I'm standing in place, normally a thing that I do is I sway when I just stand in place. And the lead singer of Tsunami, Joseph, was walking through the back of the crowd, like where I was. And I didn't realize that. And so I'm swaying back and forth. And eventually I sway and kind of step. And I step right into him. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And he just gave me like a little nod and then just like kept walking because he was trying to get outside. And I felt so bad after. I was like, he's gonna call me out during his set and he's gonna sick everyone on me. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Luckily didn't happen. But I just thought it was really funny to just like kind of start the night out like that with like me just absolutely just bumping into the lead singer Tsunami. I just thought that was really, really funny. But overall, the show was absolutely incredible. If you are into hardcore music and you don't know Tsunami, please check them out so you know the next time that they come out to Vegas. I would say the next time that they're supposed to be out here is Sick New World 2025. However, that did just recently get canceled. For what reason, I could not tell you. But yeah, the show, just absolutely incredible. Thank you so much to my friend Noah, who was able to get me tickets, because initially when he got his ticket, we were supposed to get our tickets together, so we knew we were going together. And when he got his ticket, they were like about to be sold out. And so when I went to go get mine, they were officially sold out. And I was like, well, he has a ticket and I don't. Unfortunately, he had to work that day. So I got his ticket instead and I went. So thank you so much, Noah. If you're listening to this, I appreciate you much. If you're not listening to this, I still appreciate you. And yeah, again, just amazing show. So glad I had the opportunity to see them again, but also take some really sick photos for them. But yeah, I believe this concludes the first official episode of the DJ Daze podcast. Make sure to give it a like, give it a little 5-star, whatever you can do on your streaming platform for this, please do so. If you're listening to this through LBA Accolades, thank you so much for checking out my piece and listening to what I have to say. I appreciate you and yours. Again, I'm your host, TJ Jones. Stay safe. See you next episode.